Hi, Bill Best, my wife Mary Best. We have Hillcrest Farm Disc Golf Course here in Bonshaw, Prince Edward Island. We knew very little about the disc golf, and our oldest son was in Royal BC doing residency for family medicine, and he started playing disc golf out in that area. And a course owned by Infinity Solstice in the mountains of British Columbia near Alberta border, I think. And I went out for a visit one time, and we played with them. And it was the spring of the year, and there was snow on the ground, and it was raining, it was cold, it was miserable. 2 dogs kind of chases at the end of the day, and when it was all said and done, it was still fun. And having supper that night, we kind of just talked over with our son Bob and said, you know, we could build a course like this one in Prince Edward Island because we do have the room for it. And that's where it kind of all started, just over a beer and kind of thinking about, it was his idea. And even now, I still don't play. We end up spending all of our time trying to maintain the course and keep it good for other people. I play about 2 rounds a year and don't play very well at that, but we're doing it. And probably, I'd have to say, about the most important thing in a course, to have a good one, is to have it designed. And you mentioned John Houck, and I knew nothing about it. And I kind of walked down here one day before we started everything, and I said, yeah, you know, a first hole would look good. I could start here and I could go to the east. And that would be the worst thing you could do because you need number 1 out, number 9 back, number 10 out, and number 18 back. And if my first course hole would have been down that way, it would have ruined everything. So very quickly I realized that I knew nothing about it and went on the internet to find a course designer. And not knowing, again, I just kind of went to the different sites and talked to different people and ended up communicating with John and Dee Houck, and after some negotiations and whatnot, got them to come and design the course. And that was, everything else was secondary because regardless of the amount of money you spend, if you don't have the design, and everyone who comes to play the course, nobody complains and say it's silly or this hole is poor. Everybody says, you know, that it's a well-designed course because the guy who did it knew what he was doing. And just because you've played a few different courses and you know something about it doesn't mean you can design the course. And I still think, but it still probably took me, I think the stone over there says 2011 is when we started, but it was still probably 5 or 6 years even into that before I realized that, yeah, the course design is the most important thing because you can change the baskets, you can change, grow a tree here, one there, you can do lots of things, but the basic design is it. And
you mean how many trips up here, Will?
At least 4 different trips.
4 trips,
Yeah, the first trips, my wife Mary provided him with a whistle and something and a compass. She's afraid he's going to get lost back in the woods because we'd never really been back in those woods. We had no reason to go back there.
This part of the farm wasn't a part that we ever used. It's too hilly for cattle, not very good for crops or anything like that, and so it was never used really, this part.
Yeah, and you should try to figure out what it's going to cost you too. We just kind of started into it, and then you got halfway through and says, "Whoa, where are we going here?"
Then we had to get a loan.
Yeah.
Finish it off.
Like this building behind us. I made a wrong turn one day near Charlottetown, and I drove in, and there's this old log cabins for sale.
Yeah.
$500. Well, $500, by the time we took apart log by log, it was all half rotten. Had to go to the woods and cut a whole lot more trees, and
you had to put it all
I
together.
don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars it cost, but anyway, that's just secondary. And but yeah, so that was the whole thing, and it really surprised us still, the number of people that come and play and want to play, and we're quite pleased.
We've had people here from Texas and BC and places in the States and all over the place, really.
Someone's coming up there on a cruise, and the cruise ship is going to in Charlottetown here in like July or August, and they contact us to see how they could make arrangements to get out to play disc golf. When Mother Nature modifies it, we kind of do things. Where our concern is that every year, every tree goes down. If it's an important tree, then we should replace it. So that's all we're doing now is just replacing ones that go down.
That's been something that we've been working on. You'll notice behind some of the big trees, there's a little one. Those are spares. They're growing out for the big ones. So we try and do that quite a bit. Actually, it was Bobby that suggested that, anyhow, all of our boys like to play
Yeah.
the course.
We
Really.
planted 5 beech trees over number 10 long today because those wild cherry trees
They just blow
they're
over.
good for like 15, 20 years and then they just fall over, so they're all dying off. So we replaced those with some beech because we had them, and
We had a big windstorm here 2 winters ago, and it took down about 150 tops
yeah,
of the trees. So anyhow, so we go along and plant. Oh, I would guess we probably plant what, Bill? 20 to 30 trees a year, maybe
yeah,
more.
probably half of them or 2/3 of them grow
A
probably.
lot of them are sort of replacement trees or trees that are, strategic. And then the rest of them, as far as the open spaces, we just try and stick with what he had originally.
And every year it seems that the water changes a little bit. There's a couple of holes now. Number 2 today is a little bit wet. 17 to get the short tee. I put some gravel there yesterday, and every year the water flow, the things change. So you got to kind of work on that.
Parking lot.
Yeah,
We did the parking lot again.
expand the parking lot this year because we run out of space.
Yeah.
And I think probably, actually I contacted John Houck again this year. Our plan is to probably bring him back in the next 2 to 3 years just to have a look and say, what do you think, John? What changes should we make? Or maybe we even have some alternate placements for some baskets and stuff like that is what we're planning on. We didn't look at it as a business to build a disc golf course to make money. It was the idea of our sons kind of thought of it, and then the whole concept of, like, once you got the course, you're not really messing around with Mother Nature. You're not destroying things and just kind of maintaining it. And
it's really pretty. Some of the wildlife that we've seen. I saw the other day a mallard duck. We finally got a duck
in
on
our
our
pond back there.
Duck and
Yeah.
2 of them, a pair. And we've seen owls and foxes and all kinds of little birds and snakes and frogs, and that's
Yeah.
been fun.
So we
I
have
really
people
like
that
the
just come out and don't
wildlife.
even play. They just walk the
Yeah.
course, which is fine for us. And I am surprised the number of people that play it and where they come from, and it's almost like quite a following, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, people are always looking to help.
The
and
only
they're
irritating
good.
thing about the whole thing is that people smoke. They realize they shouldn't smoke them. We've been seeing a couple of forest fires, and we really don't like smoking fine cigarettes on the course. But I don't know. I've talked to a few people, and we're still dealing with that problem. I'm not sure. I don't care how much beer they drink or wine or whatever, but I don't like cigarettes on the course, I'm afraid. And you can't get insurance for that. If you get a fire here, like, we're done, we're out of business. And
That's the end of
I guess
that,
people
yeah.
who smoke, they just don't think of that. So that's about the only irritant.
Vandalism every once in a
Every
while.
once in a while, yeah.
We get a little bit of
Because you see,
vandalism.
back where we are here, like, there's no electricity. And so to put, it costs us more to put cameras and run electricity back here than it'll be worth. So, and everything's on the honor system. Now we're around sometimes to see if people pay, but generally we aren't. And
generally people are really good.
yeah.
Yeah, they treat it like they would.
and we've got a good
You'd
group of
expect.
stewards that kind of help
Yeah.
us out, and guys that pay the $200 a year and play all they want.
No, the island's so beautiful. It's part of the reason why the course is so pretty is because the island's so pretty, and everybody just enjoys it for that. You couldn't find a prettier province really anywhere. So anyhow, people that come usually enjoy it for that.